So I seen a post on Facebook saying instantly when I seen it, I said, that'll be a pretty interesting conversation. It was it's a picture, like a meme type picture. And it had three Steph Currys on it. It had 2015, 16, 20, 21, and 21, 22. The unanimous MVP version, the incredible April month version of Steph, and the finals MVP version of Steph. So I'll give my take on it with two honorable mentions. Coming in second in my honorable mentions, I would have to say the 2018-2019 version of Steph. He had like a regular Steph Curry in regular season, like 47% and like 42, 43% from three. He's usually like 90% from the free throw line, 27 points. But that postseason for him was kind of crazy because they played Houston in that second round, and he was having like uh, subpar beginning to that series, and then KD went down. Then when KD went down, he had to go back to leader of the team, Steph, like the number one scorer on the team, Steph. Then he finished out that game with I think like 15 points in like the second half, something crazy like that, or in the fourth quarter. Then he had that crazy game six in Houston where he scored 0 points in the first half and 33 points in the second half. Next series is the conference finals with Portland, and everybody was saying, "Oh, it'll be a good series since Katie isn't here. The teams will be pretty much even. It'll probably go 6 to 7. Dame has his chance to get to the finals." Wrong, wrong. Golden State swept Portland, and Steph went crazy that series. I think he averaged like 36 or like 34 in a four-game sweep, and I think it was like some sort of record. I think like he beat Shaq for like the most points in like a four-game sweep, or something crazy like that. But that was like one of his better. That was one of his better series that he had. And then he gets to the finals. He was having an okay couple games. Then he had that great game which he lost. But he was finally starting to get that like monkey off his back about he needs KD and he can't do anything without KD. He's not the clutch. He was starting to get it off his back, and as soon as that happened, Clay goes down. So then they lose the series. But that's number two in my honorable mentions. Number one in my honorable mentions is the last year's version of Steph, the 22-23 version of Steph. He had one of his better regular seasons. I would say like top two or three regular seasons, close to his 2021 and 16 regular seasons as far as efficiency. Then he got hurt. Then he got hurt again. Then when he came back, the team success wasn't there, but his individual success was there. He was having an MVP type season individually, but not team wise. But he only had like a little bit of postseason success when he had that incredible game seven and he averaged like 30, 32 for the series against Sacramento. Then in the Lakers series, they wore him down because AD got the camp out in the paint and they got to play all their perimeter defense on Steph. You had Clay was inefficient, Poole was inefficient, Draymond didn't want to shoot, and then he was hit and miss the whole series. So it was all Steph and nothing else. And Kevon Looney was a hell of a rebounder and a hell of a hustle guy the whole series, but he was limited. So you barely had a Steph in the postseason, but that's my number one honorable mentions. Down to the nitty gritty. At number three, as crazy as it sounds, I have the 15-16 version of Steph. Probably the best version of Steph Curry in the regular season. Like the regular season, like probably the best, probably, emphasis on probably, the best version of Steph in the regular season. But why I have him at third in this topic, the postseason, that infamous 3-1 blunder that happened in the finals. That's what knocks him down to three. Only averaging like 17 points on like horrible efficiency and like more turnovers than assists. Yeah, that the great regular season and that horrible postseason, it it the scales are uneven on it. It don't really line up. If it was the inverse, if it was like a great postseason, and a okay regular season, then maybe. Number two version of Steph, and this is the harder one to do, as a matter of fact, because the 2021 version of Steph, when he had that incredible, like, 2.5, 3 month stretch where he went crazy on everybody they played, he had the regular season success. In my opinion, that's the best regular season version of Steph I've ever seen. He didn't have a 50, 40, 90 like 20, like 15, 16, but he didn't have the talent around him that would have had a better record. And he probably would have got another MVP. And they probably would have went further in the postseason because they would have had better seeding. That's why that version of Steph is better than the 15-16 version of Steph. Plus, he had put on more muscle. He had worked on his body. He got used to the defense people played on him, and you could tell he went to he went in the lab and fixed that issue we had with physical defense and people like trapping them and playing those boxing ones that he saw it in the finals against the Raptors. So that was like the what his mind and his body started to come together in his prime. So that's like the ultimate version of Steph to me. But the reason why I put him at second, you didn't really get to see him in the postseason. You got to see him for two playing games, and I don't know what the postseason called. I don't know what the play-in is called. Is it a postseason? Is it a regular season? It's in that gray area. But you only got to see him for two games. Granted, in those two games, he scored over 30 points, but they didn't win either one of those games. So that's why that version is in second. The lack of postseason material is kind of still better than that 15-16 version, in my opinion. Number one would by default have to be the final MVP version stuff. He was having an MVP esque regular season up until the point where he had that like horrific shooting slump for that like from like January on down to like April when he got like hurt towards the end of the season against Boston. From like that stretch from like the end of January on through the regular season, like that shooting slump like trashed his MVP chances. It trashed his shooting percentages. Like that turned into his worst. Ended up being his worst regular season statistically just because of that shooting slump. But the 2022 version of Steph in the postseason is the best version of Steph we ever seen in the postseason. He finally got the he needs KD or Steph isn't clutch or he's not the real leader of the team. He got all that off his back and watch that foul taste out of his mouth with that one postseason. And it shot him from being like, is he top 20? Is he top 15? It shot him from there to is he top 10 conversation? So that one postseason did a lot for his legacy. So yeah, in that order it will be. First, I would have final MVP version of Steph. Two, I would have 2020, 2021 version of Steph. And third, I would have the unanimous MVP season, as highly as it sounds.